The lens never lies, but sometimes what it reveals feels impossible. Creatures twisting before our eyes, ghostly shadows moving where none should be. And entities that don't belong slipping into our homes.
Swear to God, this is not a dope. This is actually we terrified with.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large.
These haunting recordings were captured on camera, and they challenge everything we thought we knew. In the forests of Brazil, a hunter set up a camera to capture wildlife, but what it recorded was far from ordinary. The footage showed a strange humanoid with large oval eyes and an unnerving face, staring directly into the lens. It even made odd noises, as if trying to communicate. Nearby dogs barked wildly, reacting to its presence. It looked nothing like any known creature, more like an alien, perhaps trying to send a message through the camera or searching for help after a crash landing. Now, experts are reviewing the footage to uncover what this being was really trying to say. Dallas Mystery. Strange events aren't new to Dallas, but one man's home security camera captured something straight out of a nightmare. A pale figure without legs glided across the pavement, not dragging itself, but moving as if it floated. Its head and arms shifted rapidly, like it had a purpose. When he showed the clip to his neighbor, hoping for answers, nobody could explain what it was. Ever since, the street feels a little less safe once the sun goes down. Nightcrawler. Security cameras are meant to provide safety, but sometimes they reveal things no one is prepared for. In Dallas, a man reviewing his footage noticed something crouching near his dustbin. It wasn't quite human, yet it wasn't an animal either. Its unsettling face and strange posture suggested it had slipped in quietly, watching the house. From that moment on, checking the cameras felt less like routine security and more like making sure he'd survive another night. Alien in backyard.
Swear to God, this is not a dope. This is actually we terrified with.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large.
A backyard security camera in Las Vegas captured something that left an entire family shaken. A strange, hunched creature appeared, unlike anything they had ever seen in the woods. Terrified, they called the police immediately. The night before, they'd spotted an unidentified flying object overhead. Connecting the dots, they began to fear the creature wasn't from Earth at all. It was an alien. By the time authorities arrived, the being had vanished. No tracks, no trace, only questions.
8 foot. 9 feet, 10 foot, I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
Kitchen creeper. While in his kitchen, a man heard noises outside and froze. Scared, he hid as the CCTV rolled. What it caught still terrifies people. A dark figure with glowing dot-like eyes peering through the window, as though trying to get inside. At first, he assumed it could be Bigfoot, but when he reviewed the clip later, the creature's features looked far more alien. Soon, rumors spread that the man had discovered something strange in his yard days earlier and kept it hidden in his house. Many believe the intruder wasn't random. It had come back to take that object with it. Curse of Woods. Deep in the woods, locals warned of a cursed trail where people who stepped on it never returned. Most avoided it completely, except one boy who thought the stories were nonsense. Laughing, he walked down the path until the camera caught a sudden blur rushing at him. A dark figure slammed him to the ground, sending him scrambling for his life. He escaped, but since then, nobody has dared test the trail again. The legend was no longer just a story. It had proved itself real. Ghosts of Romania. In the early morning hours in Romania, a roadside security camera picked up a scene that still leaves locals unsettled. Several tall, misty shapes, almost human-like, crossed the road in broad daylight. They weren't moving like regular people. Their size and speed made them appear more like entities returning to a place they belonged. From that day on, villagers began checking the cameras every morning, hoping to see them again. But the figures never came back, leaving behind nothing but unanswered questions. Alien in yard. While renovating a home and building a pool in the yard, a worker experienced something terrifying. He couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, and then he saw it. A thin, humanoid shape standing silently near the wall. It didn't move, just stared at him with a presence that made his skin crawl. It wasn't human, at least not in any way he recognized. It looked closer to the aliens he had only heard about in stories. Shaken to his core, he abandoned the project that very day and never returned. He wasn't willing to risk another encounter. Gray alien. Before a family could move into their newly built home, they installed cameras to keep watch. One night, a lonely room's camera picked up a shocking sequence. First, a strange glow appeared outside the door. Then, a small humanoid figure calmly walked straight through the glass as if it wasn't even there. Moments later, the stool inside slid across the floor, dragged by an invisible force. The being showed itself again, the light followed, and then both vanished without a trace. At first, the owners thought it was paranormal, but the more they watched, the more convinced they became that it was an alien using the quiet house for its own mission. Backyard creeper. In one backyard, a security camera captured a sight that still leaves the homeowners uneasy. Near the pool, a dark humanoid figure suddenly appeared. Its shape didn't match any person or animal. It was something entirely different. The being lingered for a few seconds before slipping back into the darkness. When the owners reviewed the footage, they were horrified. To them, it looked like an alien that had come dangerously close. And the thought that it might return again, this time when no one was watching, still haunts them. Alien in woods. Forest rangers stumbled across a lost camera deep in the woods. It belonged to a hunter who had vanished weeks earlier. The footage inside was chilling. At first, it showed the hunter tracking movement, expecting wildlife. But the camera captured something else, a tall creature with an elongated skull, standing upright and watching him. It wasn't an animal. It matched alien sightings locals had whispered about for years. The final frames showed the being turning toward the camera. Then the recording ended. The hunter was never found. Only his camera remained, as if the creature erased the witness, but not the evidence. Shapeshifter. One night, a home security camera filmed something that left viewers unsettled. A strange figure crawled down the sidewalk on all fours, its movements jerky and unnatural. At first, it seemed animal-like, but its body shape didn't fit anything familiar. For several seconds, it crept low, limbs twisting in ways that looked impossible. Then, without warning, it rose upright. Suddenly, it wasn't crawling. It was walking like a person. The transformation was so smooth, it felt unreal, but the footage was raw and unedited. Online, theories exploded. Some claimed it was a shapeshifter. Others thought it matched descriptions of the Rake. Skeptics suggested it was staged. But if so, who would risk crawling through the night just to pull a prank? And what about those unnatural, distorted movements? That's what makes this clip so disturbing. Whether real or fake, nothing about it looks quite human. Area 51 mystery. One day, a group of military men pulled over near the infamous Area 51 to rest for a moment, but their break was cut short when something unexpected crossed the road in front of their vehicle. A tall, humanoid figure with features nothing like a human. Shocked, they scrambled back into their car and sped away. What makes this stranger is that rumors of a creature roaming nearby had already been spreading for days. Even the military was said to be looking for it. Could this really have been proof of something living near the hidden base of Area 51? Many believe so.
Oh, fuck! Close the trunk! Close the trunk!
Strange man. A chilling clip surfaced of a man behaving in a way no one could explain. His voice shifted into several distorted tones at once, echoing unnaturally, as though something else was inside him. Viewers argued over whether it showed a genuine case of possession or simply a mental breakdown. But one fact unsettled people most. Shortly after the video spread online, the man disappeared. His home was left empty, abandoned overnight, with no trace of him left behind, as if he had slipped completely out of this world. E.T. Invader.
Se me está hablando, amigos. ¿La ventana? Ahí está el jardín. No mames.
A man staying alone in a hostel suddenly sensed a strange presence. Glancing toward the window, he noticed something chilling in the reflection of a nearby mirror, a dark figure with a strangely small head. It wasn't like anything he had ever seen before. Panic set in as he tried to make sense of it. Could it be a cryptid slipping in from the nearby forest? Or maybe an alien lurking outside his room? With so many reports of extraterrestrials invading homes lately, this might be one of the clearest glimpses caught right outside a window.
¿Ventana? Ahí está el jardín. No mames. No mames. No mames. No mames. No mames.
Dog saw ghost. In Indonesia, a quiet night turned strange when a man's dog barked furiously at nothing. Curious, he checked the CCTV and saw a ghostly shape drifting across the street. Hoping to understand, he stepped outside, only to spot the same faint figure gliding back in the opposite direction. After that night, it was never seen again, leaving only that single, unexplained encounter behind. Father's late-night talk. A young man grew suspicious when he noticed his sick father was always awake at odd hours. To find out the truth, he set up a hidden camera in the bedroom. What he discovered left him speechless. His father, who could barely move on his own, was suddenly sitting upright and speaking, though no one else was in the room. His words seemed directed at something invisible, and his body moved as though his illness didn't exist. The recording gave no answers, only questions. Was he speaking to a spirit, or was something else keeping him company at night? Mexican alien. In Mexico, on September 8, 2023, a homeowner froze outside his house when he spotted something unusual. A bizarre figure stood on his roof, its skull oddly shaped, staring directly at him. The sight sent chills down his spine. His mind went straight to aliens, especially since he had noticed a UFO-like object in the sky the night before. The most chilling part? Soon after this encounter, the man mysteriously vanished. Locals whispered about abduction, believing the strange being had taken him away. E.T. Watcher. A grainy old tape resurfaced in the US, leaving police baffled. It showed a man filming a figure with enormous black eyes peering through his window. Whatever it wasn't human. Not long after, the man vanished without a trace. Years later, his family stumbled upon the tape and became convinced an alien had taken him. They turned the recording over to authorities, hoping it could explain his disappearance. To this day, the case remains unsolved, raising the question, can someone really be taken like that? Beyond the reach of police or science? White House mystery. Tourists and locals near the White House were left stunned by an eerie sight. On the roof stood a gray humanoid figure. At first, many assumed it was just a worker, but the longer they stared, the less it looked human. Its body shape was unusual, and it never moved the way a person would. Phones came out, and soon the footage hit the news. The government denied every claim, but those who saw it with their own eyes are convinced it was an alien. And if it truly was, the bigger question remains: why was it watching from there? Attic mystery. It began with something small and almost unnoticeable. A woman unlocked her front door, and behind her, the attic cover shifted, opening, then quietly shutting again. She dismissed it until other tenants began murmuring about strange occurrences. When security finally checked, what they discovered was disturbing. The attic had holes cut out for watching and belongings tucked away inside. Someone had been secretly living above them the entire time. That one subtle movement on camera turned out to be the only warning sign before the truth was uncovered. Unnoticed entity. A home's dining room camera captured something that left the family shaken. The footage showed them eating peacefully near the sliding glass door. Everything looked ordinary until a slow movement began. A long, thin hand reached out and pulled the curtain aside. But this wasn't a normal hand. Its claw-like fingers looked unnatural, not human at all. None of them noticed at the moment and kept eating. Only later, while reviewing the video, did they realize what had been standing behind that curtain. Many now believe it was an alien already inside the house, watching, waiting for its next move. Living bike. In India, one man's motorcycle did something strange. Parked outside with the stand locked in place, the bike suddenly rolled forward and crashed to the ground. The strange movement was caught clearly on camera. No one was riding it, and one was nearby. People had no explanation for how it happened. Some called it a trick, but others couldn't shake the eerie feeling. What unseen force had pushed that bike? Lab humanoid. A chilling video circulated online, showing a gray humanoid figure moving slowly with disturbingly long arms. Its body proportions were unnatural, nothing like a human. Many speculated the clip came from inside a hidden lab recorded by someone who wasn't supposed to be there. The being matched classic alien descriptions: gray skin, oversized head, and thin limbs. Some believe it was recovered from a crash site and kept for secret research. Others go further, suggesting cloning had already begun. If that's true, the original might not be the only one. There could be more, walking among us already. Misty intruder. In a quiet Mexican village northeast of Izamal, a farm's CCTV picked up something no one expected. A misty figure drifted past the front gate, shifted into a more human shape, and then calmly walked straight inside the house. The farmer only discovered it later while reviewing footage by chance. Since that night, he claims the atmosphere on the farm has changed, like something unseen still lingers nearby. Watching the clip, it's hard to believe life there could ever feel normal again. Creepy nun. During Halloween week in Austin, Texas, 2023, a disturbing sight unsettled a passerby. A nun dressed entirely in black walked slowly down the street, but her face was completely blank. At first, curiosity kept him watching, but dread quickly took over until he rushed inside. Moments later, he realized she hadn't moved on. She was standing right outside his door, lingering silently for several minutes before vanishing. Some dismiss it as a Halloween prank, but many who saw the footage insist this was no ordinary figure. Tall watcher. Late at night, a home surveillance system captured a chilling scene. At first, everything seemed ordinary, until a tall, strange figure walked straight through the wooden fence gate, as if it wasn't solid at all. The movement defied logic. Its appearance resembled the descriptions people often give of aliens, beings able to do the impossible. After slipping through, it disappeared completely. Neighbors who saw the footage grew uneasy, fearing the creature could target anyone next. Since then, peace in that street has been hard to find. Creature of Peru. In Peru, a factory owner released CCTV footage from outside his unfinished building that quickly left viewers unsettled. At first glance, it seemed like nothing more than a faint blur in the distance. But as seconds passed, the haze began shaping into something disturbingly human. People who watched the clip couldn't agree on what it was. Some swore it was the spirit of someone long gone, while others insisted it was something far stranger, maybe even not human at all. Skinny being. Back in 2006, Pensacola, Florida, saw a bizarre moment caught on tape that has recently gone viral again. A man slept peacefully in his room while a security camera recorded. The door sat partly open, glowing with a faint yellow light. Suddenly, a thin figure leaned out from behind the door. Long legs, large oval head, massive eyes. It matched exactly how people describe aliens. And this wasn't a one-off sighting. Reports suggest similar beings had been appearing in homes for years, suggesting they may have been around much longer than we realized. Ghost in White. One night in Kentucky, Emily's Ring camera picked up something that unsettled everyone who saw it. A child in a white dress wandered calmly through her closed-off yard as if she belonged there. But Emily doesn't have children, and her gate was locked tight. When she shared the footage, debates exploded online. Some called it evil, others swore it was supernatural. But the detail no one could answer was how the child got in at all, or why she disappeared without leaving a single trace behind. Mysterious disappearance. A couple lounging by the pool experienced something that defies explanation. The husband looked up at the sky for just a moment, then glanced back, only to realize his wife was gone. He searched frantically, even in the pool, but she had vanished. Most viewers miss it at first, but right as she disappeared, faint flickers of light ripple across the frame. Were those sparks proof she was still there, but invisible? Or a clue that something else was happening entirely? Some people even think it was a clear sign of abduction, and otherworldly forces might be the reason behind this. Dark shadow. An evening in the park seemed ordinary. Two boys walking together, laughing, unaware of what was about to happen. One boy suddenly looked uneasy, as though sensing something nearby. Then it happened. A dark shadow shot across the ground and lunged straight into the other boy. It didn't just pass through him, it collided, almost sinking inside his body. For a few moments, his movements looked different, as though something else controlled him. Witnesses later described it as if the shadow had been searching for a host, and it found one. The unsettling video spread online quickly, with many convinced it showed a possession caught on camera. Black-eyed being. In 2025, a camper wandering deep in the forest recorded something chilling. Lost and searching for a way back, he stumbled upon an odd structure, hidden like a small house in the trees. At first, he assumed it belonged to rangers, but before he could approach, a black-eyed humanoid stepped out. Its appearance was unmistakably alien. The creature didn't spot him immediately, but the camper knew he wasn't looking at a human. That's when the recording cut off. Days later, his camera was discovered, but the camper himself was never seen again. Some now believe he never left that hidden house alive. Fence jumper. A Reddit video revealed a series of strange events outside someone's home. First, glowing orbs were found floating above the yard. Then, several pale, human-like figures ran past the house. Moments later, a few of them even jumped the fence and landed straight into the property. The entire scene looked surreal, like something out of a dream gone wrong. To this day, no one has ever been able to explain what was captured that night. Snow Beast. A tourist driving through a snowy path was forced to stop suddenly. His headlights revealed a tall, thin figure standing motionless in the road. It didn't move, didn't flinch, just stared. Any normal animal would have fled, but this didn't happen. That's when the driver realized it wasn't human, and it wasn't anything he could recognize. The figure looked alien. Though he wanted to accelerate past it, something in its gaze froze him in place. In the end, he reversed slowly and never returned to that road. Whatever it was, it hadn't been wandering. It was waiting. Fainting mystery. Night patrols usually pass without incident, but not this one. A factory guard had been checking for missing items when the CCTV playback revealed something chilling. A faint, almost transparent figure drifted right past him. Small, strange, and clearly not human. It moved effortlessly, as if it had always belonged there. Watching the footage later raises a disturbing thought. How often do we unknowingly walk past things that shouldn't exist? Pale invader. One family's house camera captured a moment that still unsettles them. While they sat in the lounge watching TV, a pale head slowly peeked in from behind the window. Its skin looked grayish, its eyes far too large. This wasn't an animal. It wasn't human. It simply stood there, staring. Was it an alien? The footage certainly makes it seem so. The family hadn't noticed at the time, but once they reviewed the recording, fear set in, because maybe it only came to watch this time. But next time, it might come inside. Indonesian shadows. An abandoned factory in Indonesia was thought to be empty until security footage suggested otherwise. One by one, shadowy figures slipped inside. From tall to small, they moved together like a family returning home. They didn't stay still or cause any chaos. They just entered, as though the building was their own home. Watching the video, the locals decided to leave the place as they didn't want to bother the family that had already been living there. Massive crawler. In Russia, one night, a man looking outside his apartment spotted something terrifying. A dark figure was crawling up the side of a building. With its long and thin limbs, it was moving unnaturally, more like something from a movie than reality. It seemed to be climbing toward an apartment window. Its shape left no doubt. It wasn't any known species. Horrified, the man locked his windows and informed the authorities. But before help could arrive, the massive crawler had already vanished. Ghost Walker. Posted almost 5 years back, this CCTV captured a moment that still haunts the minds of its viewers. It started like normal footage of a busy road, but suddenly, a human-shaped shadow appeared and calmly crossed the street. Cars passed without slowing. No one noticed. No one even stopped to avoid a collapse. Without the camera, no one would have ever known it was there. And that's the unsettling part. If something like this can move around unnoticed, what else might already be slipping past us in the dark? Farmer's fear. A farmer kept hearing strange noises in his crops at night. Thinking it was an animal, he grabbed a light and went to check. But what he found wasn't any animal. The beam revealed an oval head with large black eyes moving through the stalks. An alien. Maybe it had crash-landed nearby. Maybe it was searching for help. Either way, the idea that beings like this might be landing in quiet fields raises a terrifying thought. What else could be happening around us, unnoticed? Sometimes, the quietest places hide the biggest secrets. Table explosion. A woman was going about her day, cleaning up around the house, when her dog came running toward her. Just as everything seemed normal, a loud crash echoed through the room. The glass top of a table had completely shattered into pieces, without anyone touching it. The dog hadn't reached it, and there was no one else nearby. When the footage was checked later, it showed the exact same thing. Nothing made contact before the glass broke apart. It was as if the table had decided to destroy itself. Till today, no one knows why it happened. Road cryptid. A group of boys were driving along a quiet road when something unusual caught their attention. They pulled over, curious, and one of them began filming. That's when he noticed it. A strange little figure peeking out from behind a wall. Its head was too large, its body out of proportion, and its eyes far bigger than they should have been. For a moment, it just stared at them, as if it were studying them. Then fear set in. The recording stopped, and the boys quickly left without a word. Whatever that thing was, they didn't want to stick around to find out.
Shit, man, let's go back. Come on. I'm not messing with that. Come on.
Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.